From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
The losing streak is finally over in Charlottesville as the Tar Heels pick up a grinded-out win against Virginia to stay atop the ACC standings.
And on top of that, UNC track and field, fencing, and Tar Heel diver Aranza Vasquez all won ACC titles, showing them who's running the ACC. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm JJ Jones.
And I'm Joshua Dolgoff. Thanks for joining us. It was a huge weekend in Carolina athletics, so let's dive right in. UNC men's basketball traveled to Charlottesville on Saturday, hoping to break UVA's 8-game home win streak in the series. The Tar Heel of the game has to be transfer Mr. Score-Mac Ryan, lighting up the Hoos with a season-high 6 3-pointers against a very stout UVA defense. Elliot Cadeau continued to prove his playmaking abilities with this dime right here to Harrison Ingram to put the Heels up 7 with 1:28 remaining in the game. And big man Armando Bacot earned his 6th consecutive double-double of the year with this emphatic slam to show UVA who the ACC runs through. The Heels take on Miami tonight at 7, looking to remain #1 in the ACC. It was a low-scoring affair, but the 12-year curse is over. Let's go to the top of the key with Aman Patel to see how the Heels finally picked up that highly coveted win in Charlottesville. Aman?
Joshua, while the Heels didn't score the 80 points fans have grown accustomed to, this team kept with the methods to beat the pack line defense. And the two guys that were featured on Saturday were Cormac Ryan and Elliot Cadeau. We talked about using off-ball screens to free up shooters against Virginia's man-to-man defense, and the Heels did just that. Let's jump to the 11:37 mark in the first quarter. Cadeau's going to inbound the ball to Washington, who hands it right back off, but keep your eyes on Jalen Washington. He's going to come down to set this back screen on Cormac Ryan's defender, which frees him up to go to the corner, and Cadeau has no hesitation making that pass, and he's going to drain that every single time. A little later in the first, Elliot Cadeau is going to show a great understanding of that pack line defense. You're going to see him catch the ball here with just over 4 seconds to go on the shot clock. Right here, he could easily panic and force the ball down low to the outside or force up a shot. But instead, he's looking to drive inside, knowing that this defender is going to sink, and then he'll kick to Cormac Ryan for the easy 3, one of his 5 first-half ones. And what did we say about off-ball screens? Look at all the movement here at the bottom of the screen. Everyone's going to move into this corner to get Cormac Ryan free in the corner. UVA is going to see this, and everyone sinks. Harrison Ingram's wide open. Elliot Cadeau sees it, makes the easy pass, and that's the exclamation point of a win for the Heels in Charlottesville. This Tar Heel win was different. They didn't win because R.J. Davis saved the day with a flurry of threes, nor did they win because Armando Bacot took over the block. They won because they game planned for UVA and executed it to perfection. Joshua?
On Cormac's last 4 games, he's 16 of 32 from beyond the arc. That is 50%. When he's hitting those shots, how does he add a different dimension to this team?
Yeah, Josh, it's great. When Cormac is on, it just opened things up. I think about Elliot Cadeau, who hasn't really found that shot yet, but when that extra defender is forced to be on the perimeter, he's able to get inside and just be the playmaker he is.
With March approaching, Ryan is hitting his stride at the right time. Thanks, Aman. Now, there is no time to celebrate because UNC is back in the Dean Dome tonight to host Miami. Last time these two teams played, UNC escaped the Sunshine State after poor execution down the stretch. JJ, what do the Heels need to do tonight to complete the season sweep of the Hurricanes?
First things first, Nigel Pack is out for the Hurricanes tonight, his 3rd straight game. And I also think you need R.J. Davis to get back on that scoring track the way he was playing at the beginning of the year. You know, he was playing great, perfect basketball. We need that tonight against Miami.
Absolutely. He was 1 of 14 against Virginia, but Reese Beekman, a pretty tough draw for any guard in the ACC. And UNC, with 4 games left, they're 1 game ahead of Duke in the ACC standings. We haven't won a regular season title since 2019. That was back with Kobe White and Cam Johnson, so hopefully we can wrap it up in these next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Coming off a big upset win against State, women's basketball traveled on Sunday to take on an even bigger task, trying to beat Virginia Tech on their turf. UNC started off strong with guard Lexi Donarski hitting a 3-pointer in the first 2 minutes of the ball game. With UNC trailing at the end of the first, someone needed to make the play for the Heels. Insert Alexandra Zelaya, who shoots a seemingly effortless 3-pointer, and just like that, the Heels were back in the game. But in the second half, it was all Virginia Tech. UNC's Deja Kelly scored the last 2 points for the Heels with a layup, but the Tar Heels fell 74-62. With this loss, the Heels now have lost 6 straight against the Hokies. Our women's basketball analyst Daniel Masterson takes us down the lane to break down the latest disappointing finish in Blacksburg. Daniel?
JJ, stop me if you've heard these two names before, Elizabeth Kitley and Georgia Amor. Well, I can assure you the women's basketball team is going to be hearing those names a lot in their nightmares this week because they put on a dominant performance yesterday. Kitley got it going early in this game with a steady dose of her deadly mid-range jumpers before Amor absolutely took over in the second half to close this one out. Let's take a look. Now, the last time the Heels played Virginia Tech, they got into Kitley's airspace early and often, and that disturbed her a lot throughout the game. So what did the Hokies do this game? We'll go back to the bread and butter right away, and that's the pick and roll with Georgia Amor. She's going to set it going to Amor's right, and Gokdang is kind of in no man's land here. That's an easy dump off for Amor to Kitley, and she's going to knock down that jumper 10 times out of 10. And the Hokies also schemed her open looks down low really effectively against the Heels' 2-3 zone defense. Here, you're going to watch the ball swing around, and as it gets to the corner, Alexandra Zelaya is going to have to step out. They hit the low man, and now Kitley's got a matchup on Donarski, and that is an easy layup. She had 34 points in this game, dominant as always. But in the second half, it was all Georgia Amor. They're going back to that bread and butter play again. That's the pick and roll. Get Amor going to her right, and then as you see this, Zelaya is the man against Kitley. Why you're playing drop coverage against a guard like Amor, I don't understand. I get Kitley played a great first half, but you have to get up into Amor. She's a good ball handler and a great shooter. And if you let her step into mid-range jumpers like this, you're never going to beat Virginia Tech. The Hokies' continued success against the Tar Heels, well, that's almost exclusively due to the performance of these two right here. No matter how close the Heels have played it, time and time again, they've proved to be too much to handle in this matchup. JJ?
Daniel, everything seemed like it was looking up after that great NC State performance Thursday. What do you think happened to this offense?
I think Deja had a great game. It was one of her most efficient all year. Other than that, the Heels were just flat out cold. Credit to the Hokies. They did a great job running Tar Heel shooters off the three-point line, and they prevented them from getting going from deep with easy looks like they did against State.
Another frustrating effort from the Tar Heels. Thank you, Daniel.
Today we have a very special guest with us in studio. She has 3 national championships to her name, and she's on the roster for Team USA. Of course, we're talking about UNC field hockey co-captain, the one and only Katie Dixon. Katie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So let's start out with that national championship game. You're down 2-1 in the shootout. You have to score your stroke or else Northwestern can just end it on the next attempt. What was going through your mind in that high-pressured moment?
Yeah, definitely walking up to the line was a crazy sensation. I think I knew I had practiced that shootout a lot during practice. We had done it a lot that week, and I honestly just was like, Katie, think about back at practice. It's you and the goalie right now. Block out all the stands. So that's what I did, and I knew my move. I did the same thing every time, just a simple pull right to score. So
you convert that. Riley eventually scores the game winner, and the rest is history. You win your 3rd national championship in dramatic, heart-pumping fashion. What made this title run different from all the others?
I think what made it different was not having Erin on the field. I think we had turned to her a lot to convert those goals in the last second, and she wasn't on the field to do that. She was our coach now, and so I think that made it more special, but also just the fact that she was still with us when we won, so I think that's what makes this so special.
So you're in the off-season now. Time well-deserved. What have you been doing for fun?
Definitely been relaxing a lot, but still on the grind. I'm actually going to be coming back for my 5th year, so I've been honestly reading, kind of hanging out with friends. It's been nice. I'm underloading as well, so not as many classes, which has been nice to free up my time.
That's awesome. Any sports you're playing as well in the free time?
I think some of us are actually going to do intramural soccer, so we might try to do that, and also pickleball. I've been on the pickleball grind with some friends. So.
I was like, pickleball, it's been going up on my radar, and you beat me right to the punch, coming back for your 5th year. What can we expect from you and the team next season?
Yeah, I think the team's been putting a lot of work this off-season. We're losing some key players with Romain in the back and Peyton up front, so I think we've been adjusting to allowing new freshmen and new players to come in and fill those roles, but also just working on our fundamentals. I know Erin stresses that a ton. So we've been doing a lot of stick work and just simple drills, but also keeping it fun with competitions throughout the week. So.
Well, Tar Heel fans, stay on the lookout for number 14 at Karen Shelton Stadium next season as she hopes to deliver one last national title for what has been an illustrious career. Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Both the Pro and College Football Hall of Fame 2024 classes have been named, and Shannon Oren takes us along the journey of one of the inductees who might look a little bit familiar.
Defensive end Julius Peppers is the newest inductee in both the Pro and College Football Hall of Fame. Peppers was drafted out of UNC to the Panthers in the 2002 NFL Draft as the 2nd overall pick.
I could say it was a lot of doubt and skepticism. There were questions about if I was worthy of being taken that high. So my motivation and my main thought at that time was just to come in and prove that I belong.
Despite the negativity swirling around him, Peppers let his talent do the talking. He played in the NFL for 17 years and retired as one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league. He finished his career ranked 4th in NFL history with 159.5 sacks. He's the only player with at least 150 sacks and 10 or more interceptions, and he was named to 9 Pro Bowls. He's also the all-time leader in sacks and forced fumbles in Panthers history.
I always felt like that. Anybody can have a good game, anybody can have a good year. Can you do it again? And that was my mentality.
Before killing it in the NFL, Peppers was a dual-sport athlete at UNC, playing 3 seasons for UNC football and 2 seasons for UNC basketball.
That was a great moment in my life. As a young kid being in Chapel Hill. At the time, I was just having fun. I was just playing the sports that I love.
Julius Peppers finished his collegiate career ranked 2nd all-time in UNC history with 30.5 sacks. He's representing UNC and the Panthers well in the Hall of Fame. I'm Shannon Horan reporting.
Peppers is definitely making the UNC community proud and will officially be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio on August 3rd. After many, many rain delays, the Diamond Heels finally took on the ECU Pirates Friday night. The Heels bats were hot going into the 2nd inning with an RBI double from Alex Madera, scoring Luke Stevenson. Then the scoring drought hit, making this game all about defense, including this catch right here from Casey Cook in the 4th and another in the 5th. A crucial double play by the Heels kept them ahead of ECU in the 7th, but the Pirates eventually evened up the score. But in the bottom of the 8th, Vance Honeycutt, Air Honeycutt himself, found the swing and sent one out of the park, putting the Heels up. The Diamond Heels sank the Pirates in Game 1, 2-1.
In Game 2 of the series in Fayetteville, struggling to get anything going against the Pirate pitching staff, Carolina found themselves down 7-0 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. The Heels attempted to mount a comeback, tallying 4 runs and bringing the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the 9th, but would ultimately drop Game 2 with a final score of 7-4.
Moving on to the most exciting game of the series, freshman Gavin Gallagher knocks a 3-run homer right over the outstretched glove of the Pirates outfielder to put the Heels up 5-4 in the top of the 7th. Now let's swing it over to the top of the 8th. Gallagher back at the plate. He won't get enough here to knock another ball out of the park, but he produces just enough for the sacrifice fly that will score the tying run from 3rd. Next at bat, Vance Honeycutt makes enough contact right here to drive in the go-ahead run and put UNC up 8-7. Unfortunately, ECU would go on to win this game in a dramatic walk-off fashion. After an up-and-down battling weekend, the ECU Pirates, let's throw it on over to our baseball analyst, Caroline Daly, for Daily on the Diamond, to talk about what went wrong for the Heels. Caroline?
JJ, after a back-and-forth weekend for the Heels and Pirates, both teams played an ugly game yesterday, as UNC used 8 pitchers yesterday to ECU's 9. Throughout the season, the Heels have scored 69 runs, but they've allowed 39 from their opponents. The team ERA right now is 4.62. Some pitchers even have ERAs in the 8s or 9s. With numbers like this, the Heels just can't stack up against quality competition. Let's take a look at yesterday's game to see exactly how the Pirates won. In the bottom of the 7th, the game is tied 5-5, and the Heels put in Connor Bovair. But first, he's going to give up this fielder's choice to score a run and put ECU up by 1 run. But it gets even worse with the next at bat. His first pitch is an RBI single to score another run for ECU to put them up 7-5 in the game. Carolina came back to score 3 runs in the top of the 8th, but then in the bottom of the 8th, Matt Poston was put in for the Heels. In this at-bat, he has a 3-1 count, and he's going to give up this 2-run homer that goes high into right field to give ECU the lead once again, 9-8. The Heels tied the game in the top of the 9th, but then UNC put in their 8th pitcher, Ryan Fisher, and this is when disaster struck. The game was on the line, the Heels loaded the bases with an intentional walk, and then Bristol Carter from ECU comes up to bat. And on Fisher's second pitch, he gives up this walk-off base hit for the Pirates to win the series. The Diamond Heels trailed for the majority of this game. They fought back, and they still couldn't come out with a win because of their disappointing pitching performance towards the end of this game. JJ?
Caroline, what was the silver lining you think for the Heels in this game?
Well, JJ, ECU is a great team and they're ranked 11th in the country. The Diamond Heels competed with the team right up until the end, but fell short because of the walk-off. So this proves that the Carolina offense is scoring plenty of runs in games, but the pitching unfortunately didn't perform for this one.
Let's hope the Heels can bounce back with a win on Tuesday against VCU. Thanks, Caroline.
It was a full weekend of action for the softball team with a doubleheader on each of the 3 days. The Tar Heels had a day on Friday, earning Mercy Rule wins against Lipscomb and George Washington. After a 3-run first inning for UNC, the Bison were quick to answer with 3 of their own, but from there the Heels would hammer down, backed by this 3-run bomb from Sana Thompson. The Heels defeat Lipscomb 12-4. Against George Washington, the Heels would have another 3-run first. The Revolutionaries' bats were quiet with only 1 run scored on 1 hit, a solo home run from Rose Cano. A 4-run fourth, and this walk-off rip by Kate Bubella would send the Revolutionaries packing early as the Heels win it 9-1.
Heading into the second day of the Carolina Classic, the Tar Heels look to continue their win streak. UNC started off hot in their first game against Mount St. Mary's. The team was led on the mound by freshman pitcher Nikki Harris, who had an outstanding 13 strikeouts, allowing only 4 hits and 1 unearned run. With Sana Thompson and Isabella Emmerling both hitting bombs, the Heels came out on top 7-1. The Heels continued this momentum against George Washington and scored 10 runs in the first 2 innings. Freshman Kate Bubella hit her first career home run, a 3-run shot, and Autumn Owen followed this up with her own huge grand slam. UNC was able to close this one out early with a 10-1 win against the Revs.
Sunday's first game against Lipscomb was tight 0-0 for a majority of the contest thanks to clean pitching and putouts from both teams. Lipscomb's Brianna Wright breaks the no score with a home run in the top of the 5th inning. The Heels were unable to get the bats going, losing the game 1-0. Carolina continued the Sunday action, taking on Mount St. Mary's. While the temperatures dropped, the Heels brought the heat, enjoying a 5-run 3rd inning capped off with junior Alex Coleman's RBI single to put UNC up 6-0. The Athenians loaded the bases in the top of the 5th, but Carolina survived the scare. The Heels finished off a Mercy Rule victory with a walk-off hit, 8-0.
The number 15 men's lacrosse team took on 10th-ranked John Hopkins at Dorrance Field on Saturday afternoon. The Tar Heels fell behind in the first quarter, but tied it up thanks to this goal by Dominic Petramala after UNC fell behind 3-1 from this shot by Brendan Grimes early in the second. Owen Duffy brought it within 1, and Andrew Price tied it up at 3. With the Heels trailing 6-5 to start the third quarter, they struggled offensively, scoring only 2 in the third and heading into the fourth down by 4. Even with Johns Hopkins having multiple penalties in the fourth, UNC just could not capitalize as they would go on to lose 13-9.
I thought we had really good energy, and I think our team as a whole played well. I think the goalie had a lot of good saves, but I think we got the looks. They had 4 or 5 man-ups they scored on. They scored in transition. So when you're giving those up, it's kind of tough to win a game.
The men's lacrosse team will take on Princeton on Friday at Dorrance Field for lacrosse under the lights.
A quick turnaround for women's lacrosse with 2 games in 3 days. The first one, a top 25 matchup on the road and in conference. Competition was tight from the beginning with both UNC and Virginia scoring within the first 5 minutes of the match. While the Tar Heels had a 1-goal advantage at the end of the second quarter thanks to attacker Eva Ingrilli, the Cavs managed to even things up at 9-9 with 26 seconds left in regulation, sending Carolina into its second overtime game of the season. Holding off 3 defenders, Alyssa Long sent a pass to Ingrilli, who used a quick finish, finding the back of the net for the overtime win. The Heels improved to 3-1 on the year and begin conference play at 1-0. And on Sunday, Carolina was back on Dorrance Field to face off against High Point University. UNC's first score came only 44 seconds into the first quarter with this goal by Ingrilli, assisted by Ashley Humphrey. The Heels continued on a 4-0 run with Humphrey assisting on 2 more goals and scoring 1 herself. The rest of the first quarter saw Carolina's lockdown defense hold the Panthers to only 1 goal, while the second saw Caitlin Wurzberger bringing the Heels score to 15 right before halftime with this running shot to the bottom left corner of the net. Carolina kept the momentum in the second half, scoring point after point, but it was Ella Cabrera's first career goal in the closing seconds of the match that sealed a commanding 23-3 victory for the Heels.
Nice to be back with the sun and on Dorrance. It's great with all the fans, and the energy on the bench today was awesome. So just really enjoying our time together on Dorrance. Be back here on Saturday.
The 8th-ranked Tar Heels are back at Dorrance Field on Saturday to take on number 2 Notre Dame.
UNC track and field raced to Boston this weekend to compete in the ACC Indoor Track Championships. For the first time since 1996, UNC's men's track and field team is the 2024 indoor champion. They were led by junior Parker Wolf, who won the men's 3,000 meter, and his 3-minute 54.17 mile broke the ACC record and gave Wolf another gold medal. The women's team finished 11th, with freshman Aliyah Berry securing 3rd place in the 60-meter hurdles and junior Michaela Page placing 3rd in the 800. Number 8 UNC women's tennis took on number 33 Florida State at FSU on Friday in their first outdoor dual match of the season. Fiona Crawley and Riley Tran won 6-3 to clinch the doubles points. In singles action, freshman Thea Radman took a win to get the 14-point necessary to secure the match for Carolina. The Heels went on to win by a final score of 5-2. The Tar Heels outlasted a storm down south as they took on the Miami Hurricanes on Sunday. UNC started strong with doubles pairing Elizabeth Scotty and Carson Tangalig with their dominant swings and serves. The new duo brought down the Canes 6-2. In singles, senior Riley Tran was able to defeat her opponent in straight sets. Tied 3-3, closing out the match, Tangalig rallied to push the tiebreaker in favor of the Heels. UNC won 4-3.
UNC men's fencing is sporting some new hardware after the ACC championships. The Tar Heels secured a win against Boston College, then Carolina faced Notre Dame, and with standout bouts from Eldon Wood and Kevin Mayalima, clinched the headline victory 17-10. Mid-morning, Carolina faced Duke, and the Heel Sabres dominated the Blue Devils 7-2. All weapons excelled as Duke fell to UNC 19-8, which secured UNC men's fencing their first ACC championship since 1980. In addition to the men's team title, Sofia Kovacs and Nicole Miluski both won silver medals in women's saber and epee, respectively.
UNC Wrestling kept the tobacco rivalry strong as they faced Duke in Carmichael Arena on Friday. In the 149 weight class, number 32 ranked Jaden Scott had a technical fall, putting the Heels up 14-4 going into the next match. The energy only got higher as the night went on, with Tar Heel Isaiah Sastrada of the 165 weight class getting a pin at the end of the second period, giving the Heels an even bigger lead against Duke. The excitement continued as Max Shaw, ranked number 23, pinned his opponent in the first minute of the first period. Carolina sent the Blue Devils back to Durham, winning 41-9. Their next match will begin the ACC Championship March 10th in Chapel Hill.
It was sink or swim for the Tar Heels at the ACC Swimming and Diving Championships this week in Greensboro. Aranza Vasquez placed first in the women's 1 and 3 meter dive, scoring 32 points. Vasquez placed 4th in platform diving, and for the second year in a row, Vasquez earned the title of ACC's most valuable female diver.
After taking the dub against Pitt at Carmichael Arena, the Gym Heels went down the road to take on the Clemson Tigers. On bars, Lolly Decanoiza shined. This routine gave her the win with a 9.925, a season high for her. Then on vault, Kaya Forbes scored a 9.9, another personal best for the Gym Heels. The floor is where Carolina faltered a little bit. Gwen Fink had the highest score with a 9.625. Finally, Jessica Naranjo posted a 9.825 on beam, the highest for the Heels. Despite a few personal bests for Carolina, the Heels still fell to the Tigers by almost 2 full points. The number 1 ranked UNC men's golf team was back in action this weekend. 4 members of the team competed in the Wolfpack Individual in Raleigh on Saturday and Sunday. Freshman Hampton Roberts led the way for Carolina, shooting 3 over par and finishing in a tie for 12th. On the weekend, the 4 Heels combined to shoot 39 over par. The top-ranked Tar Heels will be looking for a stronger finish in the desert, where they'll be playing in the Southern Highlands Collegiate today.
After that busy weekend in Tar Heel athletics, it's time to give you our 2 candidates for Sports Extra's Play of the Week. First up, we have UNC locked in a Friday night pitcher's duel, and look who is at the plate. Vance Honeycutt clobbers this 1-2 pitch into left field for the game-winning home run, earning the program's 3,000th victory. The Heels would fall in the series, but battled to the very end against a very good Pirates team. And next, let's go to some fencing. Eldon Wood, he's doing some dancing on the strip with his opponent. He's patient, waiting for the right moment, and bang! Gets the final touch to secure UNC men's fencing its first ACC trophy in 44 years. It's their 9th ever and first under 5th-year head coach Matt Jednak. You already know what to do. Go to our Instagram story to vote for your favorite play of the week, and we'll announce the winner on Friday's show.
From Blue Ridge to big time, Bethany Pryor tells us a basketball phenom is pioneering her way to be a top recruit.
One girl from a small town in North Carolina has been actively recruited for basketball since she was in middle school.
When I was in 8th grade, I got offered from Appalachian State here in Boone, North Carolina.
Kate Sears is a 5-star point guard and junior at Watauga High School in Boone. She had 15 Division I offers before she even stepped foot on a high school basketball court.
Now that I'm a junior in high school, I have 30 Division I offers ranging from mid-majors to Power 5s. And
Kate's offers showed her talent, and she had been named All-State second team her freshman and sophomore seasons. Kate also scored her 1,000th point as a sophomore, but she gives all the glory to the support of her teammates.
Last year when I got my 1,000th point as a sophomore, like just having those people around me, and not all of them want to, go play basketball in college, like they all still supported me and support like the dreams and aspirations that I have.
Coach Laura Berry, a Carolina women's basketball alum, worked with Sears since Kate was in 4th grade. Coach Berry moved to Boone as she took up the head coaching job at Watauga High School before taking a job as assistant coach at Davidson College this year.
Coach Berry has been a huge part of my basketball journey from 4th grade until last year. Like, we worked out with each other almost every day, and we were shooting and watching film. She definitely kind of shaped me into the player I am today.
Kate's sister, Grace Sears, is a student at UNC and is super excited to see her sister succeed.
It's been really cool to see her grow, not only as a basketball player, but as a person as well.
Whether she's repping the Carolina blue or wearing other colors, Kate Sears will always make the state of North Carolina proud.
I'm Bethany Pryor reporting.
Speaking of basketball, not only the go to the game, but the go to the shoe game. Michael Jordan, we got on the Jordans today. What was the reason behind that choice of Jordans?
Well, obviously with a great weekend for UNC beating UVA, I had to show off the Carolina blue, the UNC Jordan 1s, but you can't go wrong with a pair of Jordan 4s.
You know, here at Sports Extra, we always like to keep it fresh. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Tune in on Friday for a preview of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.